Assalamu alaikum. Let's move to the next step of tense learning, and today we'll learn about the sentence structure in indefinite aspect of action. Let's once again revise how indefinite aspect of action is used in different tenses. You remember, in past it is used for the actions that took place at any time in past. In present for the actions that are routine actions, and in future for the actions that will take place at any time in future. Now we'll see the sentence structure. We'll see how the sentences are formed in this aspect of action in different tenses. We'll discuss three types of sentences: affirmatives, that means simple statements; negatives, the sentences with negation or not; and interrogatives, the sentences that are questions. First of all, we'll see in past tense, then present, and then future. In past tense, affirmative sentences are made by using second form of verb, and we don't use any helping verb in them. Look at the yellow part of the sentences. They are the subjects of the sentences. The red one is the verb. Subject of the sentence is a naming part of the sentence about whom the rest of the sentence is telling. Now, in past tense, past indefinite, you use second form of verb for all the subjects, whether they are singular or plural. He wrote books and they wrote books. But in present tense, there is a choice to make. You have to check whether the subject is singular or plural, because for singular subjects you have to add s or es with the first form of verb. We use first form of verb in present indefinite, and if the verb ends in the es family, I hope you are familiar with the es family that includes ch, sh, o, s, x and z. Well, if the verb ends in one of these letters, then you will add es to it, and if it does not end in one of them, then you will add s to it. You only have to do this with the singular subjects. Like in the example we have written, he writes books. If we will use push as a verb, then we will say he pushes the table. But for the plural subjects, we don't add anything to the first form of verb, like there is written, they write books. And if we will use push, we'll say they push the table. So we don't add anything to the first form of verb if the subject of the sentence is plural. Again, in future tense, you will have to make some choices. If the subject is first person pronoun like I and we, then you'll use shall with first form of verb, and if it is any other noun or pronoun, then you will use will with first form of verb. Though this rule is not very strictly followed nowadays. Now, the negative sentences in past tense are formed like this. In negative sentences, we use first form of verb in past tense, but we use did with it, and we always use first form of verb with did. He did not write books, they did not write books. We have used did with both the subjects, whether they are singular or plural. But in present, again, there is a choice. You have to select between do and does what to use. With singular subjects, you use does followed by not and the first form of verb, and with plural subjects, you use do followed by not and first form of verb. He does not write books, they do not write books. In future, the same is the case, that in first person pronoun you use shall not with first form of verb, and with all other nouns and pronouns you use will not with first form of verb. In interrogative sentences, same helping verbs take a different place in the sentence. Like in past tense, did comes at the beginning of the sentence. Did he write books and did they write books? Did will be at the beginning of the sentence, whether the subject is singular or plural. But in present tense, does and do will come at the beginning of the sentence. If the subject is singular, does will be at the beginning. Does he write books? And if the subject is plural, then do will be at the beginning, and we will say do they write books. Again, in future, the same rule as in affirmative and negative sentences, but the helping verb will come at the beginning of the sentence. Like shall will be at the beginning of the sentence if the subject is first person pronoun I and we. Shall I write books? Shall we write books? And will be at the beginning of the sentence if any other pronoun or noun is the subject of the sentence. Next, there is a worksheet for you in which you have to select which tense is used in every sentence. Circle the verb and then write at the line in front of every sentence which tense is used in that particular sentence. In the next worksheet, you have to fill in the blanks and you have to read the sentences and decide which tense is used and then use the suitable form of verb. After that, mail it to me and I'll love to check. Allah Hafiz.